First year I remember following football in 1972. Not that I really understood a lot about football in 1972, but my favorite team, hands down, the Miami Dolphins. Why? Because my mother had gotten me a sweatshirt that had the Miami Dolphins on it, and I really liked the colors. But we, of course, are going to hear a lot about the Miami Dolphins here in the next few weeks, depending on whether the Carolina Panthers remain undefeated and march toward a Super Bowl or not. You're going to have all those stories. Don Shula, of course, wanting to see the Panthers go undefeated. Mercury Morris, not so sure. You'll get to relive all those stories. And the thing that strikes me about the 1972 Dolphins, and even I understood this as a little boy, when Bob Griese broke his ankle, and I think it was week number 5, and Earl Morrall, this old guy with a flat top, came out of nowhere, and he was the ultimate game manager for Don Shula's club until Griese returned in the playoffs. And it just showed you the value, even way back then, and long before then, too, of how critical it was to have good depth. If not, just ask Jerry Jones, and I'm sure he'll tell you that I'm telling you the truth, right? But the bottom line is you look at injuries. I mean, it's part of the game. No different than as a handicapper. You can't handicap turnovers. Well, you can't handicap or forecast injuries either. But if you're an NFL general manager, you're a team president, you're an owner, you're a head coach, you've always got to be worried about the what if. Once again, ask Jerry Jones. Perfect example, okay? So yesterday, there you go. The Cincinnati Bengals just cruising right along this season. And now Andy Dalton is gone. Maybe for the entire season, including the playoffs, although he says he's going to try to come back. But hey, when you damage I think it's his thumb on his throwing hand, that makes it a little hard to throw those spirals, doesn't it, Andy? But his wasn't the only big injury yesterday. How about Thomas Rawls, who I mentioned in yesterday's video report and giving a free winner on Seattle? You know, it wasn't just Russell Wilson's outstanding play the past 4 weeks that has catapulted the Seahawks back into contention here and given them hope to make a run here in the postseason when it arrives, but it had been Rawls, the rookie, who had filled in so well for Marshawn Lynch, who, of course, had the sports hernia surgery. I think Rawls was averaging like 5.7 yards a carry, and, of course, yesterday he broke his ankle, so he's gone for the season. But the Bengals, though, Andy Dalton gone, A.J. McCarron, I mean, if you're a Cincinnati fan, all 4 of you out there watching this video report today, you cannot possibly be happy. But then you look on the other side of the injury spectrum. I mean, Gronk comes back last night for the Patriots. Everybody here with New England, Jeff Benton, Chuck O'Brien, Shawn Michaels, they were happy that the Gronk came back last night for Tom Brady. You saw Jonathan Stewart go out yesterday with a sprained foot that the Panthers say isn't too serious, but it better not be serious since they came into that game number 3 in the league in terms of running the ball, with thanks to Stewart and Cam Newton. LeGarrette Blount for New England left yesterday's game. You know, he's not spectacular, but generally he's the guy when that Patriots ground game gets going and is the most effective, especially in the postseason. Belichick loves to call his numbers. Brian Hoyer. Now, true, the Texans, after winning 4 in a row, have now lost 2 in a row. Their postseason shot is just about gone, but he suffers his second concussion of 4 weeks yesterday, so T.J. Yates could be your quarterback for the rest of the way for the Texans here. And not an injury situation, but do you think the folks in Denver are kind of, they're not as happy that Peyton Manning is hurt and on the sideline now? Because, you know, the last 3 weeks, they were getting ready to induct Brock Osweiler into the Hall of Fame, I believe. And Peyton who was probably the most oft-asked question in Denver. But after that performance by the Broncos again yesterday, I mean, what is Brock Osweiler doing throwing the ball 51 times, okay? And if that blocking scheme and that new offensive scheme that Gary Kubiak brought to him that's based on running the ball more effectively, if your quarterback, I don't care what your last name is, throwing the ball 51 times, you got problems. And you got bigger problems when your defense, which has really carried you all season long, was missing 3 starters yesterday, and you lose outright to the Oakland Raiders. So a number of teams had bad days yesterday, but I would say that my pal, my gumba, my good friend, Scott Delaney, had a worse day than anybody in the NFL yesterday, because yesterday he had his 200-dime NFL Game of the Year. He was on Indianapolis, and I think Jacksonville just scored again. Yes, Jags just got another touchdown this very moment. He lost that one. But now, listen, I mocked him, which isn't the first time. If you watch these video reports, you know that for damn sure. But the fact is this. He had won a 100-dime play in basketball on Saturday, won a 100-dime play in basketball on Friday, won a 50-dime play in the NFL on Thursday nights. He won 250 dimes. He took a shot, and he lost 220 yesterday. You got to do it. I've said this so many times, guys. If you don't have the balls to step up to the plate and take a shot now and then when you start to accumulate bankroll, what are we gambling for? That's the bottom line. You got to be able to take shots, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. Listen, Brad Wilson yesterday, what was he going for? 200-dime double your wager winner, number 15 out of 19 he was going for yesterday. Number 7 out of 8 in the NFL yesterday. Wrong side of the Bills game. He's had a rough, lousy week. He had a similar rough, lousy week about 2 months ago, and he rebounded strong. And even after having a lousy week this past one, $10 bettors are still up $35,010 over the past 157 days. That's 5 months and 1 week. When you accumulate that bankroll, you got to play it. Now, listen, I'm going to get to your free play on the Giants game tonight with Miami. Whew. Can't say I'm looking forward to that one. In fact, I tuned that game right out. I went to college basketball. That's where I think the best bet is tonight. But I want to talk about Chuck O'Brien. This is a guy who rejoined the site about 3 weeks ago. After a near 3-year absence, I'm not going to go into what all happened. I've talked about that in the past. What a way to come back. Cashed in again last night with the Patriots. And today, once again, the biggest NFL release he's had this season. His 4th 50-dime play in the 3 weeks since he's returned. He's won all 3 of them. He won against his Patriots. He's from Boston. His Patriots, or as he always puts on his site, my Patriots. Won against his Patriots 3 Sundays ago and cashed in when he said Denver would win outright. Had a 50-dime winner in the NBA, his first one on Friday night with the Pacers, getting the job done easily and a double-digit round of the Miami Heat. And then had another one last night on the Patriots. And you got all 3 of those plays for over half price off. Same thing goes today. Over half price off, Chuck O'Brien, 50-dime winner number 4 in a row, again matching his biggest play of the NFL season, of which he's 2-0. You get it for over half price off simply by using coupon code MONDAY, MONDAY. Monday, Monday, Monday. Monday is that... I have not slept for about 29 hours. I don't know, man. What am I doing these reports for? Okay, Monday is that coupon code, but let me give you a heads up, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Benton, who also had the Patriots last night, who has won 9 of the past 12 days, I think it is overall, who is going for NFL winner number 11 of 13. He is on the opposite side of Chuck tonight in your NFL contest. Now, let's talk about this particular game here this evening. So we know how the Giants have repeatedly cost themselves games by repeatedly failing in the fourth quarter. 5 times this season, they have blown a second half, fourth quarter lead. I mean, that's just amazing that they could collapse so frequently down the stretch. But then again, should we give them a little credit for actually being up in the fourth quarter in those games? If we're going to dock them and give them a demerit for losing the games? Interesting. I look at this Giants team, and obviously they have a lot of problems. They just can't run the ball. They just can't run the ball. The offensive line doesn't open up any holes. The running backs couldn't get to those holes if you gave them a roadmap. And really, it's the Eli Manning show. I mean, listen, it's Manning and Odell Beckham Jr. because none of the other receivers have really done squat this season either. And when Manning has struggled, I think he's only completed like 51% of his passes the past 3 weeks. When he struggles, this offense is going to struggle. On the other side of the ball, you got a Miami Dolphins team that made a change with their offensive coordinator a couple of weeks ago. They got rid of Bill, I think you pronounce his name Lazor, Lazor, and they promoted their quarterbacks coach, Zach Taylor. Well, Zach Taylor, wants to reemphasize the run, which they should have been doing all along because Lamar Miller, for limited carries, has had such a productive season, averaging well over 5.5 yards a carry. Well, it certainly worked to perfection last week when they were taking on the Baltimore Ravens because they gave Miller the ball a lot. He delivered. I think he had 113 yards on 20 carries. More importantly, the more Miller runs and the more the Dolphins are successful on the ground, the less you got Ryan Tannehill going back there and throwing the ball. He only threw the ball 19 times against the Ravens, the game that they won. I think it was 15-13 was the final score. The week prior, when they lost to, the New York Jets beat them 38-20. Tannehill was throwing 58 passes in that game. So there has been such a imbalance is the correct word, all season long here involving this Miami offense. So obviously that's one of the reasons they made the change in the coordinator. Now, you look at this game here tonight, and forget about all the ATS trends and blah, 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 blah. Must-win situation for the Giants because they are still in contention for a possible postseason spot and possibly winning the NFC East because everybody else is sucked in the NFC East, okay? So it's a must-win situation for them, and I can acknowledge that's why that they are laying a couple points there. Plus, if you took Eli Manning, 2 Super Bowl championships, Ryan Tannehill on the other side, well, who the hell would you back if I didn't fill in the rest of the story for you? I still think this is a very difficult game. I could see Miami winning this game. I think it's a field goal game, a 4-point game, one way or another. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I could see this one somewhere about 21-17, 24-20, right in that neighborhood. I'll be honest with you, it's a guess. I think the Giants are the play here because ultimately I just can't believe that Eli Manning is going to struggle again here tonight. And this Miami team, I mean, you've seen how inconsistent they've been all season. It's one of the reasons they fired their coach, right? It's the reason why they fired their offensive coordinator. It's the reason they brought in a new defensive coordinator as well. So this is a team that has not lived up to any expectations after the ownership group went out and spent big money on free agents. They just haven't delivered. The defense can't stop the run. The offense, despite some good wide receivers, can't consistently get a good aerial attack. The play calling has been weird all season long because they don't take advantage of a very productive runner, Lamar Miller. All that being said, I still like the Giants to get the job done here tonight. The line is 1.5, 2. I don't think it's going up to 3. I think it's a cheap price. So, again, the Giants are going to be your free play. That'll do it today for your video report, guys. I wish you well. Go forth, make some money, and I will talk to you again on Tuesday when we do this one more time.